Greetings and welcome to the Hamptons. My name is Sandra K. I am delighted and I'm honored to introduce you today to my guest, award-winning actor and producer, businessman, and world traveler, Alan Ceppos. Welcome, Alan.
Thank you. Thrilled to be here.
Yes, it's great. Thank you. Alan, you've led a very colorful and a very interesting life.
Mm-hmm.
You began your acting career at a very early age. You performed on Broadway at the age of 9 in the Three Musketeers.
That's right.
And at the age of 13, national television, The Lottery. Talk to us about what your inspiration was at such a young age to know that you wanted to perform.
I think when you're born with it, you're born with it. And I never thought it through at 6 or 7 or 8, but I think it was just in me. And I think what really kind of catalyzed it was, I like to think back sometimes, I was in 4th grade. We were doing The King and I. The teacher decided to cast the whole show, and she wanted me to be the king. So we got up and we started rehearsing, and I sang the first song, and she looked at me and she said, "You know what? You can't carry a tune, so you better go back into the chorus." I went home that night. I cried all night thinking about what had happened. And that moment, I think that moment made me say, this is what I want to do.
Well, good for you. Touche.
I think
Touche.
that was the moment.
Okay, fantastic. Alan, you have then since gone on to many other national television shows, including Knots Landing, David Letterman, Law and Order. You were a semi-regular for a time on the Conan O'Brien show. Can you share with us some of that experience?
What was wonderful about it for an actor, for the life of an actor, it was wonderful because once you got into the show, you didn't have to keep going to auditions and meeting people to see if you were right for the role. You were in. So every couple of weeks, whatever it was, you'd get a phone call from the casting department and say, "We need you there Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. So you'd get there and they'd say, "Tonight, you're going to be a basketball coach. Tonight, you're going to be a French waiter. Here's the script. Go to makeup and costume. We'll see you in an hour."
Fantastic.
So it was a wonderful way. It wasn't improvisation because it was scripted, but it was a wonderful way to actually play different characters and enjoy the actual art of acting.
Yes, and serious training.
Serious training. And not to mention that all those years I met every single famous celebrity that walked through the doors of Conan's show.
That is fantastic.
I knew
Do you
that-
think that gave you your notoriety?
I don't know. Only others can speak to that.
Okay.
Not me.
Very nice. Well, most recently, you have starred in a film, a very provocative film called That Cold, Dead Look in Your Eyes. It's a very interesting film. It was filmed in both French and English. Why don't we take a look at the clip and then let's talk about it. That Cold, Dead Look in Your Eyes.
Non, j'y crois pas.
Ouais, tout ça a été remplacé par des pharmacies maintenant. Les librairies, les disquaires, les tatoueurs.
Ça veut dire que je peux développer dans une pharmacie?
Je pense pas. Ils font que les impressions numériques.
Ah, ok, je viens d'en trouver une de chambre noire à Bushwick. Putain, le Wi-Fi est archi rapide ici.
Ouais, donc on va aller à Bushwick. Quelqu'un sait conduire un moto?
Moi, je sais, oui.
Tiens, tu me conduis? Vite, on est pressé là. Vite.
Bah, tu peux pas attendre demain?
Ah non, je peux pas attendre demain. Je suis sur un coup et là, je passe ce soir. Hein.
Mais il a de la fièvre!
Ouais, tu t'en occupes de lui pour moi, hein, s'il te plaît. Merci. Hein. Oh. J'ai voulu vous remercier tous. Hein. Vous êtes très gentils. Vous êtes très beaux. Merci.
C'est vraiment un site bien.
C'est rare avec les artistes.
Is he gonna pay us?
Wow, that was quite stirring and moving. And you won 7 Best Acting Awards at international film festivals for that role. Talk to us about it. How did it resonate with you?
I felt a lot about the character. He was a famous photographer at one point, and now he's not famous anymore. And he's at a point in his life where he's reevaluating. What did I do? Where am I going? And I think we all get to that point at a certain point in our life, and I am at that point in my life. So although the character was pretty hard and calloused, and I don't think I am, we were both facing some of the same drama points in our life. So it was easy for me to jump in to that part of that character.
Okay, talk to us about speaking and learning French.
So when I was very young, my next door neighbor was French. Very young, meaning 5 or 6 years old. And I loved being with her. But her parents didn't speak English. So I'd hang out in her house every day, and to communicate with her parents, I had to learn French. And 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, it's not that hard to do.
Okay,
So I learned French that way, and then I majored in French in college, French and theater, and then afterwards I moved to France. So I lived in France for 10 years.
and that's where you met your partner, who is now your husband,
Correct. That's where I met Frederick.
Dick.
And so speaking French to me is pretty easy.
Did you enjoy filming in French and doing the role in French?
The only problem with filming it in French was that the director doesn't speak French.
Okay,
So there were a lot of times he didn't really get what was happening other than our facial expression, which some ways that was good, and then other times it was difficult.
okay. Anything else you want to share with us specifically about the film?
It's an independent film. The director's Conan O'Brien, and he's pretty well known in the independent circuit. It's had a relative amount of success, but because it was in French in New York, it didn't get as wide of a distribution as we would have liked.
Okay, well, you did take away many awards and also
Yeah.
a Best Feature Film.
Yeah, and I'm off to Lebanon next week for the film festival there.
Very
where
exciting.
the film's going to be happening.
That's wonderful. Well, since we mentioned Frederick,
Mm-hmm.
your husband, there was a notable time in your life,
Mhm.
which I think we should share, that you and Frederick were the first gay couple to be legally wed here in Southampton. Speak to us about that, the experience. and how it
So
felt.
I like to say this to people who don't really understand. A lot of the reason that gay couples want to get married is purely financial.
Okay,
Because if you, as a heterosexual, if your husband were to die, you automatically inherit everything that's his, and you don't have to pay taxes.
okay,
What the situation gay couples had was that if Frederick were to have died, I would have had to pay taxes on my own home, which might have been so outrageously high that I would have had to sell the home. So this concept was challenged by Edie Windsor 12 years ago, and it went before
serious, very
I know.
serious business,
and
yeah.
it went before the Supreme Court. At the time, I don't know what would happen now, but at the time, the Supreme Court sided with her and therefore legalized gay marriage,
Well, it's
so that
terrific.
she didn't have to pay inheritance tax on something that was hers. So when this law passed 12 years ago, we said, well, we are going to get married. We had been together 40 years, so it wasn't really a question of love.
Yes,
Neither of us were pregnant, so
okay,
so we said, we're going to do this. So we called up City Hall and we asked them, and we were the first to call. And she's the town clerk, Sunday Sundermeyer, I think is her name. She said, sure, we'll schedule it. So we scheduled it, and just kind of interesting story. It was scheduled for 9 o'clock.
yes.
Her and Town Hall were getting death threats.
Wow.
So we changed it to 11 without telling anyone. At 9 o'clock, there were
That's scary. That's very
tons
scary.
of people, signs, and protesting. And then they left around 10:30 when they thought we weren't coming, and then the marriage happened at 11.
Great. And I understand that many people traveled from around the world to
We did.
come
We
visit
did.
you.
We had about 70 people at
That's beautiful.
City Hall. And they just had a celebration a couple of weeks ago because it is 10 years since the actual law passed. And there's a memorial now at City Hall in Southampton to Edie Windsor. And there's a place they put aside where gay couples can get married.
That's beautiful. Very nice. That's wonderful to hear. Alan, you have also recently been in a TV series called Gravesend. You play a very interesting role. Why don't we take a look at the clip, Gravesend?
Tell me, my man, this is great stuff.
Yeah. Better believe I'm your man. I get you laid all the time. I get you the best coke in the country, all right?
You do?
So I gotta ask you a little favor.
Of course. What is it?
Please, could you lower your price on the place just 50 grand?
I wish I could, but my partner Ed, he'll never do it. We spent 100 grand 6 months ago renovating the kitchen.
Business is down. The numbers are shit. You know it. You know it, Arthur. I mean, at this price, it's like I'm bailing you out. And you know what? If you don't take this deal, I guarantee you in 3 months, I'm going to be at the auction. I'm going to be bidding on your used restaurant equipment for pennies on the dollar. I'm not joking.
No way, my man Salvi. We've been in business for years and years, and it keeps getting better and better. We gave you a special price only for you.
Special price only for me. Right.
The price is the price. And this will be good for you. Owning a restaurant, a second restaurant in South Beach, it's a big deal.
All right. Well, at this price now, I really have to think about it, okay?
Okay. But how about some more blow?
You know what? You have the whole bottle.
Oh, my man, Salvi. My man. Hey,
Salvi, no, stop! What are you doing? No.
Oh, shit. I hate the fucking French more than they hate us. Hell! One down, one to go.
Wow. That was great.
thank you.
A lot of fun. That's terrific. Talk to us a little bit about this role, about what you needed to conjure up to play this part.
Well, the cocaine part, I kind of remember old college days.
Okay.
That's for sure. And I thought that it was easier to do the French part,
Certainly.
and it was a lot of fun to do with this Al. I forgot his last name. His first name is Alan. He was on The Sopranos.
Okay.
So he
great.
is a very seasoned actor.
And
very
Gravesend is a
experienced.
similar.
So it's about a crime family.
Yes.
Gravesend is a neighborhood in Brooklyn,
Yes.
and a very big family area. So this is about the crime family in the 80s. So it was a lot of fun to do with Al because he's a really good, experienced, old-time actor. I love him.
Fantastic. And can we expect to see more of you?
Sure, I have a reoccurring role. There's another part to this afterwards where I didn't die. So they show me coming back and explaining that I didn't die. I was in the water for 3 hours and whatever. And that's because I'm a reoccurring role.
Oh, that's great. Well, we'll look forward to it. That's exciting.
Fran Drescher is in this, and that's this show is on Amazon Prime right now. And from what I'm told, it's trending as the #1 crime drama on Amazon Prime. And I think part of it is because of the actors' strike. Fran Drescher has gotten a lot of airplay,
Certainly.
and she's in this, so I think it's made a lot of people.
Yeah,
try
no,
to
I
wanna
frankly, I enjoyed watching it. I was binge watching. I just had to keep going. And so looking forward to the next episode, which is terrific. And Alan, I know you have also a lot more happening, future projects. Let's talk about the one where you're going to be playing the lead as Scott Rudin. That's exciting.
So they're doing a film. A lot of the people that are involved in Tribeca, the Tribeca Film Festival, have put together a film about Scott Rudin. He's a very interesting character.
It's going to be a great role to
He has
play.
a
It's
very
gonna be a great
interesting
role.
story.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of working in my brain how to get into it and how to become him. And yes, I'm playing Scott Rudin, and we start shooting in October.
Fantastic. Very, very exciting. How long do you think the time?
It'll be about a month.
Okay.
It'll be about a month to shoot.
Very nice. And I know you have another project called a mockumentary.
So
And can you explain what that is?
I guess a mockumentary means making fun of a documentary. And this is called Scream, the musical.
Okay.
And it's about a group of actors out on the East End, because most of the people involved either have secondary homes or live here full time. It's about a group of actors who decide they want to make a musical about the film Scream.
Okay.
And it's doomed from the beginning. Absolutely.
And you're in
doomed
rehearsal on this
from
now?
the beginning. No, they're in post-production now.
Oh, wow.
Post-production.
Oh, very exciting.
Hoping to get into Slam Dance, which is a film festival, and a few others. And the people involved with it are pretty well placed, and there's been an enormous amount of buzz for this film as well.
Terrific. Very exciting. We'll look forward to it.
Yeah.
Anything else in terms of acting and producing that you want to share with us before we maybe touch on and delve into your business background?
I've produced a number of things before, Broadway and off-Broadway, and I've realized you're an actor or you're a producer. And I find
okay.
that I'm much better understanding a role and a play if I'm involved in it in front of the audience than behind. So I think I'm not going to be producing anymore and concentrate more on acting.
Okay.
I need to find, like most actors, constantly looking for a better agent.
Right.
So that's like one of my goals this month.
Okay.
And I don't think I'll be producing.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to more of the acting, which you have a number of things happening and coming out, and it's all very exciting. You're at a place in your life, though, Alan, where you've been able to perform, act, produce because of some of your businesses. Could you talk to us about Peak and the retail stores, gift shops, and the honey business?
So when I lived in France, after 10 years, I wanted to come back to America.
Okay.
I love France, I loved France, but I was ready to come back. And I found some products that I thought would be good. You know, what do you do? So import, export, right? How old is that profession? So I started exporting a number of items to America, and got very involved in the gift industry. Frederick and I created a product in 1985 called a miniature Zen rock garden. It was a square rectangular frame
Yes.
with sand, rake, rocks, and you would rake it. It was very successful. It got a lot of press. It was on the cover of Time magazine.
Fantastic.
It was a very, very good product.
And people were calling for something like that. It just resonated.
And it was before people knew really what Zen was. Frederick and I had gone to Kyoto in Japan, and we saw the original Zen garden. And so we thought that would be a good product for our industry. So we created that product. That got us a really good foot in the door in the gift industry. And for many, many years, we were wholesalers in the gift industry. We toured around the whole country all the time to visit our accounts. And then about 15 years ago, we decided we should open stores as well. So we opened a few stores. At the time, they were called Pilon, based on, from France. We've since changed the name to PIQ, P-I-Q.
Mhm.
We're in Rockefeller Center, we're in Hudson Yards, we're opening up in Grand Central.
Great locations, I
Yeah,
mean,
very good locations. And so we're still in the wholesale business,
okay.
but mostly now we're in the gift industry, in the
And you still
retail.
attend the trade shows
We
and?
still do the trade shows, yeah.
Okay.
I have a great team, which is why I can do my acting now. And then when we moved out here 22 years ago, Frederick felt he wanted to do something different, and he took classes in biodynamic farming. And one of the parts of biodynamic farming was honey. So he got involved with honey. He bought a company out here called Don Saucer, and we
okay.
changed the name of that to Hampton's Honey. This
Very
is for
nice.
you, by the way.
Thank you so much.
And
That is
so
wonderful.
So we do have Hampton's Honey as a business as well.
And where is this distributed?
You can find this at King Cullen. You can find it at a lot of the farm stands.
Okay, very nice. Do you distribute to any of the restaurants? Or, I guess
Some
more of the
rest-
organic,
Yes, some
Retail
restaurants
stores.
use it. It's not, yeah, a lot of restaurants use it, but you
and the
wouldn't know.
hives are from out here
So-
in the Hamptons?
So we have two divisions.
Okay,
One, the hives are exclusively out here, but the others, the hives are within a 150-mile radius. There's a controversy in the honey business, what's local honey?
okay,
So kind of the rule of thumb, if it's a 150-mile radius, it's local. Because the
Okay.
bees forage on the
Interesting.
same type of plants.
yeah, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
So Alan, I also had the good fortune to have dinner at your home, and your home is magnificent.
Thank you.
And you and Frederick have traveled the world. You
Mm-hmm.
have incredible sculptures, photographs throughout your home. Can you talk to us about any specifics, any specific spots that really mean something to you? Any pieces that you might have that make you smile?
So one thing about our house is we didn't hire an interior decorator to come in and say, just make it happen. So it's all a conglomeration of things that we've gathered over the past 50 years together, and of course before we were together. And because we're in the gift industry, nothing in our house is something that we sell, but we are prone to collect
Okay,
because that's in our
well,
DNA.
the beauty is magical, yeah.
So we have things that we just gather throughout the world. And people ask, where's the favorite place you've been? And I have to say, whenever we go on safari, photo safari in Africa, I think that's the most intense, because to stand there in the savannah and watch the elephants that have been walking that same path for hundreds of thousands of years, you realize how small we are and how not to get weighted down with all of the little nonsense that we seem to get weighted down with every day. And I think being there makes you really appreciate yourself, the people you're with, and the world that we
I've
live
heard
in.
that it's a transformative experience. Do you
Absolutely.
have plans to return on another safari, see any group of animals you may not have?
Well, I
seen
think we
yet?
saw the big five, we saw
Okay.
all the animals, but systematically, every couple of years, we return just to kind of recenter.
Very nice, very nice. Okay. Anything else that you might like to share with us on a personal note? I know that, as we talked before, language, you've mentioned that before, language you feel is a very important for people, the world, to speak as many languages as they can. Talk to us about that.
So when I lived in France, I taught English. And what I used to say to people is, like, you speak French fluently. You don't realize it, but you speak French fluently. Because if I said to you the word we, you wouldn't have to translate. You know what we means. So fluency is just multiplying those words that you don't have to translate.
Okay.
Like, you don't have to translate Christian Dior. You get it, right? And so if people could appreciate the fact that they're already fluent in a small way, it becomes easier for them to learn more words. And learning another language, it's not necessarily for the language that's important, but it's for the concept of understanding how other people think.
And
how
other
other
cultures,
people-
how
and
they
other
live,
cultures live,
and
how they
broadening
look
our
at the world.
perspectives.
Yeah. When I was 17, the first time I went to Europe, I went to visit my aunt in Fifth Avenue, and I asked, she had traveled a lot, and I asked her, I told her I was going to France, and I said, did you like France? And she said to me, I love France. The only problem is they don't speak English.
Oh,
It's
that's funny.
No,
No.
that's the whole point.
That's
the
great.
whole point.
That's really great. Okay, well, on that note, Alan, it
Okay.
has been a true pleasure, honestly, getting to know you and, of course, having you on the show. And
Thank you. Thank
look
you. It's
forward
fun.
to keeping it going.
Thank you. I love being out here. I love the Hamptons. I love everything about here.
Yes, so do I. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And up next, everyone, very proud to say that we will be meeting the media mogul, Victoria Schneps of Schneps Media and Dance Papers. So stay tuned. Everyone enjoy the summer. Lots of love.